Hi there, I'm Michael Kane and welcome to another episode of Bodhi Talk, a channel dedicated to helping you open to life more fully. In today's video, we're going to talk about and explore the power and benefits of intention and how intention can create a more productive life with less stress and more purpose, and help you to relate to life and challenges in a different way. Okay, so before we get started, just a reminder that if you enjoy this video, please click the like button below. Please subscribe to the channel, especially if you'd like to get updates on up-and-coming videos that I'll be putting out. Just so you know, it's free to subscribe. Let's see, if you have any questions or comments, please put those in the comment section below. And also, if you'd like to know more about what I do here at Natural Bodhi Wellness, working with trauma, developmental trauma, shock trauma, complex trauma, please go to my website for more information. That's naturalbodhi.com. You'll find a link to my website below as well. So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits and the power of intention. Without intention, we kind of blindly move through life, existing by default in a way, and really creating problems for ourselves. And so intention really gives us this opportunity to react in a completely different way, right? And respond in a completely different way to things that are happening within us, things that we're looking to change in our lives in the future, and just everyday experiences that are very difficult for us. So, one of the things is that it's like a compass, right? Intention's kind of like a compass. It's something that once we set an intention, we kind of have this navigational tool that leads us in a particular direction. Or it's kind of like an anchor in a way, so that if we lose our way, we're able to come back. We kind of have a starting point over and over again. So no matter how many times we kind of go off track with our intention, we can always come back to it. We know where we're going, right? We have that compass that helps us to navigate. In a way, intention is kind of like a conscious, purposeful attention. And I always related to intention are questions like, why am I doing the thing that I'm doing, or what would I like for myself, right? Where am I heading? How am I going to meet, right, or react to this particular person or this particular experience or this thing that I have to do, whether it's happening right now in the moment or it's something that's happening in the future. Intention, being able to pause and set an intention, really changes the future and changes how we're going to respond or relate to a particular experience, right? Or ourselves also. So let's talk a little bit about different ways that we can use intention to, again, reduce stress in our lives, frustration, less suffering, and create a lot more purpose and balance in our lives as well. And it's something I always want to kind of point out with intention is not the same as expectation. So, intention is kind of like an open field of acceptance and purpose, almost like an aiming at something, and like an archer who aims his arrow, and once he lets go of the arrow, we don't know what will happen, right? But whereas expectation is like this attachment to the target in a way, or you know, this is what I'm going to do and it's going to happen this way no matter what. And of course, when things don't happen the way we want, we have these very rigid expectations. We're definitely going to get frustrated. We're definitely going to feel stress and even depression. So this is not about having an expectation, it's an intention. It's this kind of purposeful, conscious attention of creating and generally it's a simple intention. We don't want to make it too complex. It's something like, you know, in my meditation practice, for instance, when I sit to do meditation, I create a very simple intention to be kind to myself, to be open, to be present, to be accepting, something like that. But we can use this in all kinds of different ways. We can use intention in all kinds of different ways. So the first one is really intention in challenging times, events, experiences that are happening for us with different people. And, you know, like I said, it can be in the present moment, something that's happening right now, or it can be something that's happening in the future. So, like, let's say that I'm late to work and, you know, instead of just running out of the door, jumping in my car and driving like a maniac and getting all stressed, I take a moment to set an intention to be more open and accepting and not get so stressed out. There's nothing I can do. I'm already late. The best that I can do is simply settle a bit and drive to work. And then when I get to work, I'm not frustrated, right? I'm more settled and relaxed. So setting an intention especially when things seem to be going south on us, right? Things seem to be going wrong in some way. The same with people. I'm going to go and meet with somebody that maybe is difficult. And so I set an intention before I walk in to meet this person to be more accepting, to be kinder, to, you know, be more present in myself in some way. Or, you know, like the old Thanksgiving dinner, right? That where all the relatives are there and there's, you know, your favorite uncle who makes fun of you, and instead of going into your default way of reacting to things, maybe having a few glasses of wine before you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you set an intention to not let that bother you. Just kind of create an open space in a way. I like to create analogies for these, and one of the analogies I love is this idea for people or things, either one, things or experiences. It's like a wild stallion or a wild horse. And the more that we try to control the wild horse, it's kind of like putting the wild horse in a really small stall, right? And you can feel that, right? What it's like to take a wild stallion and put it in this really small space, trying to control it. And now feel what it feels like to take that same wild horse or wild stallion and put that horse in a vast open field of acceptance and just a space, just letting the wild horse buck around, and maybe even we can ride that horse at some point. But you can just feel the difference, and that's intention, right? My intention is not to try to control the situation that I can't control, which is a really important part of intention, is understanding that for the most part, the things that are happening around us are out of our control. And the more that we try to control them, the more stress and frustration and suffering we're going to create. So in a way, the only part that we can control for the most part in our lives is how I relate to a particular person or a particular experience. So if I'm able to set an intention, create space, create a kind of kindness or whatever that my simple intention is, and whatever that I'm trying to deal with, it will make a huge difference, right? It's like putting that wild horse in that vast open field. So you can imagine this in all different parts of your life, all the challenges, whether they be in the present moment or in the future. We can also use intention in how we are acting and what we're saying or thinking. So we can set intentions to watch over our thoughts. Let's say we have worry thoughts. Let's say we have thoughts that are related to shame or self-rejection in some way. And just to set an intention to notice when those thoughts arise and to let go, to not have to hold on to our worry and our shame, knowing that that's not who we are, right? And again, how am I relating to myself? How am I relating to these thoughts, to narratives and beliefs and shame and things like that? So we can set an intention that when those things arise, we can meet them in a completely different way. So that's one way. Also, intention in what I'm going to say. You know, I use this all the time with my boys. When I get upset, sometimes I'll pause and I'll kind of let that frustration move through me, and then I'll think about how I'm going to say what I want to say. You know, I'll say something like, "I need you to know," or "I need you to do this," and try to make it in a way where it's not so, you know, rigid and not so, you know, pushing them too hard, so that they're not putting up their walls. So all kinds of different ways that we can use intention in what we're saying and thinking and how we're acting, you know. Really, again, this is all about taking a pause before I move into any particular experience with myself, internal experiences or external experiences, and creating some intention that's going to make things smoother and run a little bit without, you know, so much stress and frustration and suffering. Another way to use intention is to start your day with intention, or start over with intention. So if I start my day with, let's say I wake up in the morning and I say, you know, I'm in pain, and or this day is going to suck, or it's going to be a bad day. It probably is, because your mind is now oriented towards looking for what's wrong, or it's oriented towards I'm in pain. And so we're going to keep focusing on that, and we're going to move through our day with that kind of expectation that things are not going to be good. And, you know, one of my friends used to say, if bad's what you think, bad's what you get. And it goes both ways, right? If I create an intention, and it's not about, you know, negating that things are tough and difficult. That's not what intention is about. It's not like, oh, I'm going to be happy all day. No, maybe the intention is I'm going to do my best to accept and allow what I can't change, right? Change what I can, let go of the rest. And so that's the intention. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to feel difficult things and pain and all that kind of, it's just I'm deciding to pause and meet it or relate to it in a completely different way, which is going to change things, you know, and my day is going to go better in many ways because I'm not resisting and battling things. So we can set intention for the beginning of our day. At work, we can set an intention. How am I going to be at work with my difficult the people I work with, my difficult boss or whatever? Finding a way to set an intention before I walk into my work, to my office. Setting intention for our relationships. How can I change and shift my relationships based on intention, right? How am I acting? How am I relating to my partner or my friends or my kids? And so again, this is an opportunity to pause and really ask that question, why am I doing the thing that I'm doing in a way? How is what I'm doing, you know, how is that creating that kind of cause and effect in my life? So relationships, another great place for intention. Another thing that we've already talked about this question, but I use this a lot in my work with myself, but a lot with my clients, And a lot of times, one of the first things that happens when someone comes in to see me is I ask them, what is it you'd like for yourself out of our time together today? And this is really an intention-based question. And what's great about the question is a couple of things. One, it gives us, once we've created this, what you want for yourself out of our time together today, once we've created that, and now we know where we're going, right? We have this navigational kind of compass. We know where we're heading, and no matter how many times we kind of get off topic or get lost, we can always come back to that intention that we created in the beginning of the session. Or maybe we've shifted through that, we've worked through that, and now we created a different intention. Just asking, well, I noticed that there's other things come up, maybe you'd like that for yourself today, and then we're able to even shift into a different intention. The other thing about this question, what would you like for yourself, is that it creates agency, it creates autonomy, it creates this sense of me being able to take control of my own life and what's happening for me, right? This is what I want for myself. And in a way, there's a lot of intention in that. So a very powerful question. What would I like for myself in whatever different ways I can find. And we can create a kind of heart's desire in a way. That's another way of saying it. Like, what's my heart's desire for, what's my purpose for the future? So I can say, what would I like for myself in the future? What's my purpose? Where am I heading? And again, it's not an expectation, it's an aiming, and then I kind of create this intention for the future, and then I kind of let go and trust that I'm heading in the right direction. I have this compass heading me in the right direction. Another place for intention is in spiritual practice. All kinds of spiritual practices, doesn't matter what religion or spiritual practice we're talking about. Again, that other question comes up, why am I doing the thing that I'm doing? So, when I sit down in meditation, I ask that question. What's my intention for, I don't just blindly go into the meditation. I sit and I say, what's my intention today? Well, to be kind, to be accepting, some kind of intention. Or in my yoga practice, when I do yoga, what's my intention today? It's usually very simple. It's very, very simple. And it might be just to be kind. Sometimes I've had a long day and I do a yoga practice and I'm like, I just want to be really gentle and kind. And just by saying that and pausing with that for a moment and embodying that intention, it's already there. It's like the whole practice changes because of that. So there are all kinds of ways in spiritual practice that we can bring that in. Why am I doing the thing that I'm doing? Let's see. Another place for intention, and this is a little bit new for me. I've had several people lately that have been doing like psychedelics and different things for healing work. It's not something I do myself, but I did some training and some workshops on this just so I would be able to help people to integrate their experiences. And it was really important to hear that the first and most important thing that in any kind of mind-altering experience is intention. Why am I doing this? What's my intention behind what I'm doing when I'm doing any kind of mind-altering experience, whether it be sound related or psychedelics or anything like that. Doesn't matter. Anything that's mind altering or shifting consciousness, just like meditation, right? Why am I doing the thing that I'm doing? And it's good to explore that, and that can really help create, again, a foundation and a compass for where I'm going. And later on, it can really help us to integrate whatever experience happens within that mind-altering experience. And then finally, just I mean, we've kind of already talked about this, but really just intention for self-care. Looking at, we kind of talked about this with shame and all that, but really changing habits that limit us in many ways. And, that takes some awareness, right? That takes some mindfulness to be able to notice that when I do something to myself or to others, something I'm saying, beliefs, narratives, things that I'm doing that are limiting me, disconnecting, disassociating when I feel some kind of threat or I feel overwhelmed, to be able to pause, right? How am I relating to whatever it is that's creating that disconnection or that narrative? And noticing, is it true? That's one of my intentions a lot of times when I hear a weird narrative, like you don't deserve to be happy, let's say. And let's pause with that. Is that true? Let me set an intention to listen for that when it arises and move forward in my life without so much limitations. And really, at the core, we're all, those of you that are listening to this, at the core, whether we're conscious of it or not, we're all trying to come back to our self in a way. We're trying to become more connected to ourselves, to the world. And there are a lot of things that happened to us in the past, ways that we learn to survive, adaptive strategies of survival that limit us. And there's nothing wrong with that. We don't want to negate that, or we don't want to, judge it as bad. But if I can set intention around working with it and being curious about it, I can begin to change those things. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope that you will explore and find new ways even to use intention in your life. Again, such a great practice if you can learn to implement it and almost create a habit of kind of setting intentions throughout your day and in your life. And notice how much less stress and frustration and suffering come into your life, and how much more purpose you have when you have intention. So thanks again for hanging out with me. I hope this was helpful. Again, as always, if you like the video, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Any comments or questions, put those in the comment section below. And if you'd like to know more about what I'm doing here at Natural Bodhi Wellness, you can find a link to my website below. So again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.